Delmarine Maurice Williams. I am a survivor of domestic abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, teenage pregnancies, rape, sexual molestation. My first memory of sexual molestation came at the age of 8. I was living in St. Mary at the time with my grandmother and my other cousins. It happened first time with a family friend. This person would come to the house and he would help my grandmother with whatever activity she wanted to be done. So he was like a part of the family. And even from this person, there was no penetration because he had a problem, I think, with his genitals. So there was no penetration from him, but he would fondle my breasts, he would fondle my private parts, and I wasn't able to do anything about it. I didn't know at that time that it was wrong because I knew that other persons were having the same experience as I was. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't know it was a wrong thing that was happening to me. My aunt met this man and she took him to St. Mary and he started to molest me as well. Later on, I found out that both of them knew that they were molesting me, and so I kind of found out at that time that it was wrong. And I wanted to tell somebody. So my grandfather, who was living near to my house, I told him, and they found out that I told my grandfather because he had said something to them. And they threatened to kill him, and they threatened to kill me if I told anybody else. So I lived through that for about 5 years or so. I didn't know my mother at that time. I didn't have much memory of my mom at that time. When I eventually started to see my mom on a regular basis, I would go to her house because she was living in a adjoining community to where I was living. And then a different form of sexual abuse started because I was now molested by a female when I would go to my mother. And it was the same situation as not to tell anybody. So I grew with that. I was not a rebellious child based on the whole sexual molestation. I was not rebellious. I went to church, I loved church, I participated in church, I found my sanctuary in church. I found peace when it was church time. Fast forward to when I did my common entrance at that time, I was not placed at that time. You would have to pass to go to a traditional school, but I would go to a secondary school. And my dad was living in Kingston. I am an only child for my dad, and so the relationship that I have with my dad is really special. I would see my dad like once per month or sometimes twice per month. He would come from Kingston into St. Mary, and I could not tell my dad because I didn't want them to kill my dad, so I didn't say anything to them. I didn't tell my mother, I didn't tell anybody who was like older than I was. At this point, one of the guys that was molesting me wrote a letter to my other cousin stating that she was now going to high school and he didn't want her to have any boyfriend or anything because he would kill her and then kill himself. So it kind of came out that this was happening, but nobody believed. My grandmother did not believe. She didn't think that could happen. At one point it was said that, I just look at sex, I kill you. But nobody knew of what was happening on the inside. So when I came to Kingston for my dad's wedding, I was really upset because he was going to be married to this woman, and I think in my head that this woman is now coming to take away my dad from me. So that was when the rebellion started. I hated her. I cried the entire wedding, the entire reception, the night after. I cried and I did everything I could to break up the marriage. I was told that you are going to live with your dad and your stepmother, and that's final. I was placed in a school. One of my elder cousins was a teacher at the school, and so I was placed at the school, Tivoli Gardens High School. And it was like a culture shock for me, because I'm coming from this deep rural country into Kingston, where everything is fast and new, the climate is different, and I was like a lost person. I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know how to take taxi, I didn't know how to take a bus, because I'm not used to that in St. Mary. I just walk to school. So having this no one trust upon me at this age, I was really confused. I really didn't know what to do. Eventually I met up with some girls at school, and even going to school, I was so different from them because I talk different from them. I am a country girl, so I talk like a country girl. So they would tease me. I didn't have anybody to comb my hair. My stepmother is not an hairdresser by any stretch of the imagination. So I went to school with big plaits in my hair. My hair wasn't parted straight, and I wear what we would call church shoes to school. I didn't have a traditional knapsack. I had like a handbag. And so the children are really cruel. They teased me mercilessly. And then I had this big forehead and the granny plaits at the side of my head. And then I had severe acne. And all of that come together. I was like teased at school mercilessly. I didn't want to go to classes because I just knew what would happen. I wasn't a dunce, as you would put it. I could read well, I understood my work, I did my work, but I just wanted to hide from school. I didn't have much money either to go to school because they could not afford it. So I would get like probably $30 at that time, and I couldn't really do much. I was paying like $5 to go to school and $5 going home back. So I had like $25 most time to buy something to eat. Now what can that buy? So that lasted for grade 7, parts of grade 8. Now where my dad was living, he was having some issues, and so he had to move. The landlord did not like children, so I could not stay there. So I was asked to go and live with my elder cousin who was a teacher at the school. It was good. It was good in the sense that she now started to comb my hair. I was going to school with my hair comb. She bought a bag, so I kind of looked a little bit different. Persons even noticed the change because at one point I got a certification from Most to Improve just because my hair was combed properly. It's a good thing, but it's also an embarrassment to have that certification because my hair was properly combed. But I embraced it, and I tried to use that as something positive. What I loved about living with her was that there was food. I didn't know that there was KFC, and she had a piece of chicken leg in the fridge, and I would go home every evening and take off a little piece of the chicken leg because I thought that if she knew that I took it, that would be an issue because that was issues before previous places. And then one evening I could not resist the temptation. I just eat the entire chicken leg. Didn't care what was gonna happen. I eat the chicken leg, eat some fries that was in the box and everything. And that was when my addiction to KFC started. I am addicted to KFC because of that one chicken leg. But it was bad in a sense that my husband was a police and I did not feel comfortable around males. Did not feel comfortable around him. And then the teasing at school, it kind of minimized, but it was still there. And I just reached a point where I am just going to kill myself. I would be better off because I came into Kingston to live with my dad then, and not even that was happening. So my mother don't want me, my grandmother don't want me, my father don't want me, nobody wants me. That was what was going through my head. And because he was a policeman, he had a gun. And I knew where the gun was. So I love to write, and I was writing on a book page. I didn't know that my cousin saw it until way down the road, that I am planning to kill myself. And so she told my dad, and I had to go back to live with him. We moved from Kingston into Portmore. And at that time, Portmore was not as developed as it is now. So all the houses look alike, everything look alike. And again, I was thrust into another culture shock because Portmore is fast. and there's a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of houses. I live in the country, there's like 2 houses beside me and everything is spaced out. So I could not get used to that. My first day in Portmore was a Sunday night and I was to go to school the Monday morning. Now when I went to school, school was out half day because there was some water issue. And I got home at about 12:30 and I was lost. I could not find my house until about 7 o'clock the night. I found my house. And I walked past the place a million times, but just didn't know that that was my house because everything looked alike.